licenses is completely and utterly against European law. Totally, it is. Yeah. So I think, you know, in limiting the amount of licensees from a European legal perspective, it's very, very difficult to justify, number one. But more importantly, and you know, the basis of the whole re-regulation is consumer protection of the consumer. Are you going to protect the consumer properly if you would, let's say, let's pick a number. If you allow three online operators? Well, I don't think so at all. There's 1 million Dutch consumers currently playing online. Apparently, they're not super bothered with the fact that those operators are not locally licensed yet. So it's also, I think, from a policy perspective, and I'm sure Dennis has an opinion on that too. It isn't a good idea, I believe.
Do you allow me to add a little bit to that? I'm not a legal expert in this field, but to me it would be competition law turned upside down. It's absolutely unthinkable that you give an incumbent operator a head start. It's a big no-no. So that's one. And the second thing, which I think is very important to make clear here, is you said it was the charities that came up with this alternative proposal. In fact, it is the Dutch Good Causes platform, and the Good Causes platform says it represents, I think, 200 charities, and those 200 charities currently get money from the incumbent lotteries, and the incumbent lotteries are also a member of this charity platform. So I would not go so far as to say that this comes from the charities. In fact, I know that there is numerous charities out there that don't want any alternative proposal, and they want the lottery market to be modernized yesterday, rather than in 2022 if the Good Causes platform gets their way.
Not too much to add, but I think it's of course we know the charities platform has asked for us to look at models where you limit the amount of licenses. As you know, we have thought very well about the model we presented to Parliament, which is an open model. A lot of questions arise. How do you calculate the number of licenses you need? How do you get distribution of those licenses? So, from a legal perspective. And on the other hand, there's also the question: does it affect the concerns, for instance, charity or concerns about the consumer that there are? Will you in the end be able to well, will it really affect competition in such a way that the concerns about substitution are managed well? I don't have the answers, but at least these are the answers that rise in my head when we heard those alternatives.
I think we're turning to the end here, so if there are questions, you're welcome to chip in now. Questions right now? Yeah, yes, one down here.
Thank you very much for a very interesting discussion. My question is on some of the phrases used by Dennis and Justin. So whenever you're looking at a gambling operator, you were saying that if it's too aggressive, if they aim too much at the market, that's where the line perhaps is. And for me, compliance. I'm really interested to know from an objective point of view, what is too much? What is obvious aiming? What is obvious targeting? targeting? And on the other side, when would it be that you would have Dutch customers but not necessarily targeting the market?
Questions?
Maybe we should give the lawyer. I'm not a lawyer here, but it's no. We have a prioritization criteria. That means our gaming authority enforces on all operators that are aiming at the Dutch market. But as we all know, they can't. They have to prioritize their efforts. So therefore, they look at operators that use a Dutch website, that use a Dutch language on their website, and the criteria that were developed help the gaming authority prioritize their enforcement. So you will not hear me saying if you do this, you're on the safe side, because there is in essence there is no safe side, because we have a law, the gaming law in the Netherlands states that offering online gaming in the Netherlands is not legal, period. But we know, because we are in a transition period, that we have to do this carefully.
Thank you very much. And specifically about .nl domains or the Dutch language, how do you feel about Ideal offering the local payment options?
It's not my role. This is a decision that has to be made by the gaming authority. It's not. I'm not in a position to answer those questions.
I'm a bit more free to say something about it. I think, I mean, if you stick to 3 prioritization criteria, as David said, at this stage, the risk for enforcement is extremely low. I think also, if you put Ideal on your website, although you could say, well, you know, this demonstrates that you're active in the Dutch market because it's a payment mechanism which is only interesting for, you know, Dutch nationals. That as such hasn't stimulated the gaming authorities so far to start enforcement actions against you. They will start enforcement actions if you continue to have a Dutch language website, if you do the radio, television, print media campaigns, and if you have the .nl extension in your URL. And of course, if you start, you know, with a very, very, very aggressive marketing campaign, you may receive a letter or two. But other than that, and basically also what is important, I guess, is to have a look around and see what all of the larger operators are doing. And rest assured they are, let's say, compliant with the requests of the gaming authority.
It's the most useful advice I've ever seen anyone give at a conference in public. Do that to us one day. It's free. It's free. You have to lunch, please.
Just for once, it's free.
I have a final question, gentlemen. This one is for you, Dennis. So right now we know, you told us that probably 2016, 2017 we'll have iGaming licensing. So as I understand, lotteries, new lotteries, comes after you're pushing that in front of you, and because of the delays, that process is going to be delayed too. My question is, why is it so? Is it a political solution, or why couldn't it be two separate, I mean, two parallel tracks? Because if it really is beneficial for the Dutch state to have more lotteries, why don't we speed up that process?
I think it's a bit different. The fact is that on January 1st, 2017, all current licenses for the current Dutch lotteries have to be renewed, or at least there's a moment where we said we will postpone transparent licensing and allow new lotteries to the market until January 1st, 2017. That was also because at that moment, 1 year ago, our council minister said we want one change at the same time. But as we now know, the decision making on gaming has postponed. So these moments will fall more or less at the same time. I cannot change that. It could be that questions will rise in Parliament about this topic, but I cannot.
Yeah, one simple remark. I think largely the ministry has done a tremendous job so far in let's say, in drafting the bill and engaging the sector and so forth. There's one thing that concerns me, which is exactly this point. The reallocation of the licenses until 2070, for the very simple reason that it's the Achilles heel of the whole policy. And frankly, I think any given operator out there could challenge the fact that the licenses again have been reallocated without a transparent allocation mechanism, which is after the Bedford decision of 2012, I believe it was. It was very clear. You have to have a transparent and open process, unless the license is issued to a let's say public company in terms of owned by the government, or if there is a private company like the Lotto, in which there is strict government control. And sure as hell, there are a number of licenses which do not fall into those categories, so they could be pulled any day. So that's a weak part in the current setup.
I think that's all we're gonna make here. Time's up. Time for lunch, and I'd like all of you to thank our panelists.